Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to my early impressions video of the Serendipity Mini Hybrid. Many of you who follow my channel know that I've used the larger edition of this pen for a long time now, over a year. And I use it, that larger one, for all of my ink reviews. So, but this one's different. You've seen my green one, and I will compare it in a minute. But this one is small, and it's a demonstrator, so it's going to give us a really nice bird's eye view of what goes on in there. You know, what this is all about, how it's got a regular feed and nib, a number 6 nib, and it's got this little, what we call a reservoir, what they call a reservoir. So we're going to ink it up and everything, but first I just wanted to give you a really good look at it. And this one is the demonstrator. They make it also in the other colors, like my green one, with different color options. So you could see right away that it's not as long as the other pen. But I'm getting the cart in front of the horse here. I wanted to say it's from Pensive Pens in Australia. It took about 2 weeks to get here. And I'm really, really excited to have another one of these pens in-house, because I wanted to have one that I could use over on my writing desk and write letters with it, and not necessarily interfere with what I'm doing with my reviews. Now, a lot of times I'll hop over to my writing desk with the other Serendipity and just keep writing letters, and I'll still do that. But there's times when, for a particular friend, I want to ink up and quick, and I just want to, you know, show a couple of different inks, and this is just so easy to use. So, let's compare it to the other one right off the bat, because I think that's going to be really worthwhile for us. So let's move in the one that I've been writing with for over a year, and we'll put them side to side. We'll try to get them lined up as far as the section. And there you can see that there is a big difference in the size, because this is a pocket pen. This is a little mini edition. In fact, they've got an interesting thing. On the website, they say that it has a nickname. It's Serendip itty-bitty. And I thought that was really cute. It's very fitting. So this is the larger one, and you know, the top part of it is all the same. It's got the number 6 nib with the regular fountain pen feed, and it fits in there. But now we get to see what's really going on with the demonstrator one. So let me get my ruler. So I just wanted to show you, kind of show you if I can. So there's my thumb and everything, and from that section, well, we'll just do it right there. You know, it's approximately 4.5, and if we do the whole pen, well, then we're looking at 5 3/4. But I'm just trying to measure from where the section where my thumb is to the end of the pen with the normal sized one, the regular size. It's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 5/8, right from the middle of where I hold it. Now, let's do that with the other one. This was very helpful to me. Hopefully it will be to you. I don't know. So I have small hands, so I'm going to be okay with this pen. Quite okay, actually. Okay, let's do the same thing. So we're looking at just, well, right around 3 inches, but actually 2 7/8 if you look at the same thing, right in the middle of where the section is, where I'm holding it to the end. So, and we have another pen to compare it to in a minute. So this was one of the reasons I wanted to do this, so that any of you who are wondering, and I've had at least one person email me and ask me, you know, how big is it? What's the deal with it? If you have larger hands, you're going to be more comfortable with the larger one. So let's see here. Okay, so you can see how those compare. Now, I paid, it's $59 Australian, so it was about $40 US. And then the larger one is $79 Australian, $53.59 US. So, I just wanted to try this one. I saw it and I thought it was beautiful, and it was a little less. So I felt like I could get everything that there is in the larger one. And sure enough, that plays out true for me, because my hands are small enough to deal with it. And I just love it. I love being able to see it, see right in there. And in a minute, we'll ink it up. But let's go ahead and talk about the length and everything. So we're talking about it's 3 15/16, so it's almost 4 inches when I measure it, from tip of the nib to the end. And then it weighs only 5.6699 grams. It's a very lightweight pen. So that's much we have. And it's a steel nib, a Yo-Wo nib. You can get it with the size you request. I requested a broad because that's what I like. Next, I really want to compare it to, I want to move this down so we have a little more room here. And I want to compare it to the Pilot Petit one. This is inked up, and but I'm going to go ahead and take the cap off, and we're going to put it side by side. Now, keeping in mind that the nib on the Pilot Petit one is smaller, so I'm going to line it up to be fair with section to section like that. And they're really similar, and that's an unposted view. So, for instance, when I hold this, I feel like the Serendipity stuck out a little more. Let's try that. Yeah, just a little bit more. Actually, I should be measuring, because that's what we're doing, really. We're looking at, you know, whether this would be comfortable for you. So, there we go. Not quite 3 inches. This one, and we will measure that. So, okay, so I'm holding it right there, so... Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's almost the same. It actually looks about the same because that's 2 3/4 basically. So this is unposted though. So this pen does post, and then you've got it, but you don't have a number 6 nib. You don't have a changeable nib either. You're dealing with cartridge or eyedropper, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But I still prefer this because there's so much more I can do with this. I can put a stub on there, a fine, an extra fine, a medium, whatever I want for a nib. And it's really easy. I just change it with a little lobster band. Thanks to another YouTuber, Chris Rapp. This idea came from his channel. So there we have those two. Now, it's not really fair when you get into comparing others, but this is another of my favorite demonstrators. It's a Wankai Moonman Mini. And it is way different. You're certainly not gonna, well, I can write with this unposted, but that would not be comfortable. There would be times when it would probably sort of get stuck and wouldn't work right. So let's get the little ruler out there. Section to end, yeah, then we're talking about a 1/2 inch shorter, unposted. So you're gonna post that, and it screws to post. It is a number 5 nib. And yes, you can change the nib, so that's a great thing. And it has a wicked capacity there. So you're not going to do that when you're just testing a 2 mil sample. No, I'm not anyway. So, but it's another of my very favorites. And I pulled out one more just for grins. This is the Passaporto. Let's see, Stipula Passaporto. Wow, I'm getting rusty. Okay, and I'm not handling it right. Let's see. A tiny, tiny pen that is even smaller, and definitely is not an unposted, it's not writable unposted. It's very much like the little Wankai would be unposted. So it also screws to post. It's a demonstrator sort of, but you don't get to see in the section part. Well, you do on this one, but not on the Stipula. So again, an eyedropper pen, very, very nice, nice nib, but it's the smaller size nib. So it's not a number 6 nib. Okay, so now I've kind of worked myself into a not having space here. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you just for comparisons, but mainly we're talking about how it compares to the Serendipity. So on their website, it says that the Capillary Action, let me see if I can get it held up there so you can see that. It says Capillary Action draws a very generous amount of ink into the feed and reservoir behind the nib. You can do a quick dip for a little bit of writing or a few seconds to get more ink. So I always kind of let it saturate. I love the fact that, you know, I can write like 3 A5 pages with these, well, with this one, and I'm sure the same's going to prove because it's the same design. The difference is the length and the materials on this, you know, the see-through demonstrated quality of this one. So let's ink this up because that's what we want to see, right? Let's go ahead and get something underneath here for when I make a mess, which is inevitable. And we will go ahead, and I got something to roll stop it. Well, I got my little cat too. Okay, got my notebook. I actually thought what I would do, oh, with this came their card. Everything is crooked. Why did I even have to look? Okay, everything is like dastardly crooked. Their card and 2 samples of ink too were free sent in there. One is the one we're going to use, which is Robert Oster Blue Denim. I have some more of it here, and then I have the little sample here. And then the other one was Robert Oster Barros Grape. Let me show you what they look like. Here's the denim, Robert Oster denim, and here's the Robert Oster Barros Grape. Very pretty. Nice. I really appreciated that. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to do this. This is an experiment, and I don't know if it'll work or I'll have to do it 10 times till it does or what, but let's try it. We're going to dump the ink right in there, or at least enough. Yeah, let's just do it. We'll get it all in there, and then I'm going to try to show you as we ink it up. And then we're going to write on 68 GSM Tomoe River paper. I'm going to try that. Okay, so I got to try to hold this in such a way I would like you to be able to see it. I'd like to be able to see it too. So, okay, so I'm going to dip it in the ink. It is Robert Oster Blue Denim, and we'll just see what happens. Okay, so here we go. I'll dip it in there. And I'm going to, you know, I'm going to let it stay there for a while. I usually even turn it. Because I don't know what goes on inside there either. I don't get to see inside that green one. You can't really see it. So I'm curious, you know, like maybe I haven't even been getting all that there is to get out of it. Huh, interesting. I see it kind of, I see it on the nib now. I need to leave it alone. I guess I could just leave it sitting in there. I don't leave it this long normally, and I get 3 A5 size pages, so I'm not seeing it like fill that right up or anything, which is probably good because then you'd have 3 days worth of writing, and that's not really what I use these for. Okay, so let's go ahead and clean off the nib and just see what we've got. Oh, okay, I did a spill. Okay, note to self, ink syringe should not be by the sink, it should be right here. I did pick up what I spilled. It was on the brown craft paper, which is what it's for. And now I need to put this further away from me so I don't dump it again. Okay. All right. Emergency is solved. Okay. So now let's back to the regular scheduled program. Okay. So, interesting. I've always wondered, does it like fill it up? What happens? I never leave it that long, and I always get like 3 pages of A5 writing. So I tend to just write on these. There we go. Serendipity. Oh yeah, I'm brilliant. I'm going to set my notebook down on top of it, but that's okay. Mini Hybrid. Oh, it's such a smooth, broad nib. These are special nibs. They don't send them out until they're ready. I know that. They say that on their website, and it's absolutely true. It's just a dream to write with. That's why I couldn't bring myself to order a different size. I wanted the broad again, so I asked for a broad. So let's get in here. Maybe move this over just a little. And do some writing. This is the Bond Travel Gear 68 GSM notebook, and I'm just devastated because I heard from a pen friend today in the comments on another video that they're going to be discontinuing this notebook. Ugh, rats. That's terrible. Maybe we ought to write over here and really conserve this paper, huh? Okay, so Serendipity. Oh, I'm sitting here talking. Oh, that's a beautiful ink too. And you know what happened was I had a little tiny bit left and I had it over in my art desk. Now, because of what they sent, even with my little spill, I have enough to do a review of this now, this ink. So that's going to be wonderful. Serendipity Mini Hybrid. Okay, and I'm going to put a broad here so I remember I had a broad nib in it when I did this. See if there's anything else. I had a little postcard here, size thing here. Okay, so what do we want to know? Well, it's $40 US. Not cheap, but it's a very nice pen. I'm finding it very comfortable to write with. It's not going to bother me. My hands are small enough. I wear a medium woman's glove. I don't know if that's going to help anybody really. I'm thinking that for most people who have large hands, and maybe most men, but not all. My father's hands were not huge. He had medium hands. You probably would want to go with the other size. So, yeah, my brain has not been... So let's talk about what I usually, you know, consider in a fountain pen. I just keep talking and letting it dry. Okay, reliable. Well, I'm biased ahead on this because of working for so long with this green one and knowing that they're the same pen. It's just a different edition of it. So reliable. And I trust and believe that it's going to be very reliable. The next one is affordable. Well, that's stretching it for me because my budget is, you know, I don't know. This is in the middle. This is where I start to really want to make sure I'm going to get the value, but because I can change the nib and it's so easy to clean, there's lots of factors that go into that. Smooth, no doubt. The nibs they send out are just awesome. Comfortable, yes, for me. But I'm not here to tell you that I think that everyone could write with this, because this is quite a bit like what you would experience if you took a Pilot Petit one and wrote with it unposted. And many of us can do that, but many of us can't. So you know who you are probably, and now you could probably get a ruler and test it out with a pen that you are comfortable writing with. So the other thing is, of course, that wonderful ability to swap the nib. Swap nib, yeah. I probably worded it different one other time, but that's a real big key for me. And then I have two like bonus criteria I like in pens. Clear. I love a demonstrator, and this is, now that might not have been the smartest, you know, nut in the bag because of the way I test out so many different inks, and I can think of a couple inks I would not put in here because I don't want to stain this purple or stain it blue or stain it anything. And I tested this ink out first to make sure that it had some properties that I trusted before I put it in here. So I'm not sure, and I'll kind of have to investigate how this will clean. I don't know. I have never worried about it with this one. I've used Noodler's Rome Burning and Noodler's Blue Bonnet and Heart of Darkness, and I've never had any trouble because everything is dark on this one, and I just make sure I keep the acrylic nice and clean, you know, make sure that I don't leave it on there or anything. Okay, so then available. I tend to not want to have to rush. I don't like limited edition pens, but sometimes I'll go for them. Okay, and my little cover. That's not the new one. I made a brand new cover for this one, and here it is, right here. Okay, so it doesn't come with a cover, but I use the top of a pipette, and I have been very, very happy with being able to do that so that I don't let it dry. Because you know what happens if you just lay a pen down without a cover? It'll dry, but this will go overnight and everything. It's proven. I've done it many, many times. So I forgot a whole part of the beginning of the video, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. This is going to be a little scattered, but it wouldn't be Chris's video if it wasn't a little scattered. So let's look at the packaging. I really wanted to show you, because even though it came in the little bag, well, this is the bag it came in, but inside it came in the bag. The pen was in there, and the card, and the two little samples were in there, but they were really, really protected well by tons and tons of bubble wrap and another bubble envelope. And so don't fear, they will package it really, really good. Yeah, the postage was $17. It's expensive when you order from overseas, other than like some of those Chinese pens, but I wanted to just show you that. So I am very, very happy with this purchase. Would I purchase it again? Yes, I would. Even though, as I look at it, I can tell that this one is more practical. It's, you know, it's longer, which really isn't the main thing for me. The main thing for me, now that I really think about it, is that I'm not worried about staining with this one, as long as after I dip it, I carefully make sure that I haven't let any ink stay on there, because some of the inks I play around with are, you know, they're lethal, you know. But but it's worth it to me to have this one, because I really wanted to see how it worked. And I'm still intrigued, you know, maybe if I kept it longer, it would go ahead and, you know, maybe I'd notice more of the ink. I don't know. But that's amazing to be able to see it. And it's a demonstrator, a really pretty demonstrator. Let me move that so it just doesn't distract. So I'm very happy with the purchase, and I'm going to use it constantly. And I'll look into and maybe even contact the maker there, James Finniss, and see whether my concern is even warranted about ink and which ones, you know, to really be careful with. But we all know, we've all got a cautionary tale about an ink, and I don't want to stain such a beautiful pen that I paid $40 for either. So I'm going to look into it and be very careful. But I thought I would bring you this video so that if you were considering like maybe one or the other, you'd then be able to see the size and see what's happening with it and find out more about it. I'm also curious, that's another good reason to contact them, because right now it says sold out on their regular sized one like this. So I am very curious as to whether they're going to bring these back. I would have to guess they probably will, because I think they've been very popular. But I have also heard they're going to be making silicone covers for them. That's interesting. Whoops. I keep it in the viewfinder here. And I'm very interested in that. The other thing is that the Pilot parallel covers will fit over them. But I'm kind of funny about that. I want to see it. I just have a thing about that. I want to see it. And I could tell that air doesn't get in because it's tighter up here. It's a little bit wider here. So if you cut that pipette just right, you got a nice little cover. It's not necessarily all that aesthetic, but it's there. Okay, I'm just rambling now, and I'm hoping I haven't forgotten half of what I was going to say, but I feel like it's just a wonderful writer. This is a very early impression of this particular one, but because I'm so familiar with the other one, I can confidently say this is going to be awesome, and I'm very grateful I was able to get it. So if you have any questions, let me know. I can certainly try to find out for you answers, and I hope this was helpful to anybody considering a purchase. I will see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye.